because blessing. And I do blessing things, blessing. And when I do them, I always smile because blessing makes the world go round. Yes, blessing makes the world go round. Welcome to Blessaya, where we experience wild colors for chaotic harmony. And in this video, I do a lot of talking. Not gonna lie, there was some tech issues that happened the week before with Adobe Photoshop Elements, and in this video, I talk about it and I talk about how mad it makes me. I also attend my very first Sustaining International Sisters meeting, and I get a little bit of footage of that. It was very fun, and I also revamp my persona. So if any of that interests you, then stay tuned. Sorry for the bad lighting. I'm waiting for the other light to come on, but it's been 30 minutes and it hasn't come on yet. So, I think it's dying. But I'm here at church. Today is Monday, September 30th, and the reason why I am here is because I have a doctor's appointment at 10:30, and so Daniel took me to work with them. They're working the front desk because the actual secretary lady, her basement got flooded due to the hurricane, and so she couldn't come to work today. So Daniel's at the front desk. But I realized that I spent so much time in my last video talking about my ears that I very rarely show my tail. So let me show you Dove's my tail. So this is my tail. It is purple and white. That's one side and that's the other side. It is made up of tulle and it moves. Yeah, I spent like an entire day making the tail and I really like it. I wish I added more white to it, but I only had so many little holes to put the tulle through. But this is what my tail looks like. I very rarely do you get to see it because it's always behind me, but I do in fact have a tail, a skunk tail, because my persona is a skunk named Skunky. And so I like to dress up as a skunk because skunks are my favorite animal that I love very dearly and have always loved ever since I was a kid and first learned about them. Like I don't really remember a period in my life where I didn't like skunks. I love them so much. They're so cute. But yeah, this is my tail. I'm not gonna paint right now because I have to leave around 10, which is in about 30 minutes. So I'm not gonna burst out the paints or anything. But I've gotten quite a few compliments on this shelf that I've been working on, the one with the owls, and I like how it's turning out too. I can't wait to finish it. Lee said that I can have it because I've put so much work on it. And so I'm like, yay! Because I could always use a shelf because I had to get rid of quite a bit of furniture when I moved in with Daniel and TW. I had to get rid of a lot of stuff actually. Excuse me. One of those things being shelves. And so, yeah, I used to have this really large bookshelf. I had two bookshelves. That one came with the apartment I was in, but the other one I found on the side of the road. I used to always pick up furniture from the side of the road. So I found this bookshelf on the side of the road, and I fixed it up with my drill and some nails, and I was able to put like my shoes on it, as well as a whole bunch of like kitchen appliances. I used to have a lot of kitchen appliances. And I miss having shelves. So the fact that I am going to be able to take this one home with me makes me really happy. She did say I could donate it still if I wanted to, but I'm not going to, because I really could use a shelf. But it was originally for Chalice Thrift. And the reason why I keep yawning is because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I had a bad headache that would not go away till I finally was able to get out of bed and take some ibuprofen. And also, I had trouble falling asleep, and that really sucks because I forgot to take my sleep medicine. And so I didn't get much sleep last night. And today is Monday, so I'm normally on Mondays I edit videos. But that'll have to wait till later because I need to go to the doctor because I am completely out of my medication. I tried getting my medication last week, but it did not go well. My doctor sent it to the wrong pharmacy, and so that turned into a whole thing. And then the next thing I knew, there was a big giant hurricane that was happening, so everything was like closed. What is that? Someone put something on the back of this chair. Ooh. I like it. I don't know whose it belongs to, though. It looks like a smock. Ooh. I'll have to ask Daniel about it. Yeah, I'm gonna go do that because this is really cool. It looks like it came from Chalice Thrift.
Good morning, Blessing.
Hi.
I didn't know you were here.
I'm okay.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it looks like it came from Chalice Thrift. I'll have to ask Daniel about it. So I talked to Daniel, and this is what it looks like. It belongs to Ted, so I'm just gonna leave it here for him. I think he left it. He can be kind of absent-minded sometimes, but that's okay. But it's his, so mystery solved. And I think he made this beautiful work of art right here. And I think it looks really nice. He did a great job. Oh, and I wanted to say the other light did finally come on. I think it's dying though. And if you haven't seen my other video, I don't know what video it is, but I have a bunch of owls on the shelf. These two owls are done, but the rest are not done. And this is the shelf I was talking about. So there's that. I'm home from church. I actually have been home for several hours now, but I didn't film because after I did my doctor's appointment, I needed to get my medication, and my doctor said he would send it to the pharmacy. The pharmacy's in the same building. So I went to the pharmacy, and they were like, well, we haven't gotten anything. So I waited, and then they still were like, we haven't gotten anything. Talk to the front desk ladies. So I talked to the front desk ladies, and they were like, well, we'll email your doctor so that he can send the medicine. And then the pharmacist people went to lunch at noon and came back at 1. Meanwhile, I am still waiting. And so when they opened their little shop up again at 1, I was like, has he sent in my medicine yet? And they were like, no. So they were like, well, we'll email him ourselves. So they email him, and it takes a while for him to respond, and he sent in one of my medicines, but not the other. And so I had to wait some more. And then he sent in the other medication I needed. And So it was like about 2:30 by the time Daniel came and got me, and then we got home at about 3, and I hadn't had anything to eat since the morning. So I was hungry. I was really hungry. So we got home and I made some egg salad, which is all right, but I thought I used to like egg salad a lot better than I do now. Uh, I'm still gonna eat it, but I don't think I would make it again. Because I was looking through this Food Network magazine. I was trying to pretend to be a chef. I know how to cook, but I'm definitely not a chef. And I was like, well, maybe I can do something with egg salad because I have eggs and I need to go grocery shopping, but I'm too lazy to. And uh, so I made egg salad. And then so I ate my food. I still have like a boatload of egg salad left. But I ate my food and then I was so tired that I completely crashed because like I said in one of these previous clips, I could barely get to sleep. My finger is really itchy. I barely got any sleep last night. And so I I crashed and I woke up about 30 minutes ago. I've been browsing eBay because I was gifted some vintage oil paint. It's not water mixable oil paint, but it's regular oil paint. And so I was looking on eBay to see if I could find more vintage oil paint or vintage watercolor or whatever, because I really like how Scratlanta is kind of like a hodgepodge of vintage art supplies and like used art supplies. But I was looking at eBay just because I got curious because I saw a TikTok that was like, if paint is too expensive, then buy it used. And oil paint in the tubes last about 50 years before they completely dry up. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that because I have these vintage oil colors. Some of them are dried up, others are not, and I would like to use them at some point. I need like um medium to dilute it down because apparently Gamblin makes solvent-free mediums you can use with your oil paints. So I need like that, but that's money. Um, so I've just been browsing eBay and I haven't done anything since I've been home. Today, Mondays are usually video editing days, but I was so exhausted and hungry that I just could not edit a video today. So I'm going to edit a video tomorrow. Oh, and I wanted to tell you, doves. What do I want to tell you, doves? No, that's pretty much it. That's basically what happened. So it is Tuesday morning, and I actually need to rant about something. I don't usually rant because I try to maintain a positive outlook on the world, but I need to rant about something. I need to rant about Adobe. Hi, it's Editing Blessing here. Um, Originally, I was going to include my initial rant about Adobe in this video, but the rant ended up being 20 minutes long. And there's another part of this video where I talk. It's not a rant, it's something more of me reflecting on like past circumstances that also is around 20 minutes long. So I figured it would be best to cut this Adobe rant short so I can talk about something more positive because I'm not a very negative person. Um, and so I am going to cut this rant short so that y'all can hear what I have to say, but also aren't too overwhelmed by like 40 minutes of me talking, basically. If I included the rant and the reflection of something completely different from the Sustaining International Sisters meeting. So I am going to rant about Adobe right now. My computer just beeped and I don't know why. Oh wait, I do know why. I guess that doesn't matter. Anyway, back to rant. I got Adobe Photoshop Elements 15 back in 2017 because my business coach, she recommended it for they're called like action steps, where you can buy action steps and it basically edits your photo without, all you have to do is press the play button and it edits the entire photo for you. And my business coach had, I think it was maybe around 15 different action steps that I could play with in terms of editing my photos. And I love that feature, and it's why I got Photoshop Elements, because she was like, just get Photoshop Elements. She recommended Photoshop Elements. Anything newer than 13 or so has this feature. So I got Adobe Photoshop Elements 15 because it was at a discounted price from a reputable source. I remember I paid $50 for it. And so I've been using Photoshop Elements for like pretty much all the photos on my website and everything. So then I was having no problems. And this is like 7 or 8 years of me using Photoshop Elements. I never got like the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite or anything like that because I didn't feel I needed it, because Photoshop Elements was just fine. And if I needed like actual illustration work, I would use My Paint or Kreepy or something like that, you know? But then last week, I get a message from, I opened up Photoshop Elements and I get this message that says, this Adobe app has been disabled. This app was disabled due to misuse of the serial number used to activate it. Start a free trial or buy genuine Adobe apps at up to 40% off to avoid disrupting your work. And I got very upset and frustrated because I was editing a video and I just needed a YouTube thumbnail, and I had to use one of those browser-based programs to get a thumbnail, and it was a mess. And so I was like, well, let me just deal with that in the future. Like, I'm sure there's a way Adobe can see that I legitimately bought this program and that I have had it for years with no issue. So then I am editing this video and I realize, oh, well, I'm filming this video, sorry, and I realized, oh yeah, I never resolved that issue. Let me try Photoshop Elements again. And the problem was still there. This big giant window still came up and I could not use Photoshop Elements. There has never been anything wrong with my serial number. I bought it once, put in the serial number, and had full access to Photoshop Elements 15. And so I believe that this is Adobe's way of trying to get me to upgrade to Adobe Photoshop Elements 2025, because I got curious and I clicked the link that talked about their products or whatever, and I came very close to being like, well, maybe I should sign up for the Creative Cloud Suite. But I don't have any money to do that. So I was like, well, what if I just bought the latest version of Photoshop Elements? But I looked at their website and I do offer Photoshop Elements 2025. However, I just think it's pointless to have to buy a brand new program when my program was working just fine without any issues. This was completely out of the blue. And I also feel that on the website they have this like 3-year term license to use Photoshop Elements 2025, and I just think that's a little bit iffy, because what would stop them at the end of the 3 years to quote unquote encourage me to buy the next release of Photoshop Elements? By then it'd be like Photoshop Elements 2028 or something. What would stop them from saying you have to pay another $100 to use the latest and greatest Photoshop Elements 2028, because that's a different product, from the future. It's not here now, and we're not saying you have to subscribe this is not a subscription service. They kept repeating it on the page. This is not a subscription. This is a one-time fee where you can use Photoshop Elements 2025 for 3 years. But I predict that in the next 3 years, there's going to be a new Photoshop Elements, and they are going to say, you have 3 years to use this Photoshop Elements if you pay us to upgrade. And I just feel like it'll be a cycle, because technically it's not subscribing, because you're upgrading to a new product. And so I just got really frustrated and upset. I refuse to give Adobe any more of my money because I've recently learned that Adobe is a crappy company, and I don't want to give them any more of my money. And so I'm going to be using GIMP from now on. Yes, I know it's got its problems, but I used GIMP when I was in like middle school or whatever. That was when I discovered it, because it was a free alternative to Photoshop, because there was this website that I used to go to that kept talking about how the program she uses is Photoshop. I couldn't afford Photoshop. I didn't know how to like pirate it, you know, at the time, because I was like a dopey teenager. Well, a dopey 12-year-old. So I got GIMP. And so I'm going to go back to that and just not worry about Adobe anymore, because this is ridiculous. I think they're trying to phase out their older Photoshop Elements programs so that everybody can just upgrade to Photoshop Elements 2025. And this sucks, because when I got my Wacom Bamboo tablet, it also came with some CDs, one of them being Photoshop Elements 8. Now, the reason why I haven't been using that is because it is too old of a version to use those action steps that my business coach was talking about. But it came with a serial number for it as like a promo, but you get the full Photoshop Elements 8. And so now I'm thinking I can't even use that, because I'm worried if I try to install it, I'll get the same, this Adobe app has been disabled message. And I don't want to get my hopes up. And I also have no idea where I put those discs. It came with like Photoshop Elements and Autodesk or whatever. So I'm just going to use GIMP and go about the rest of my day. Today is Friday, and it's been kind of a wackadoodle week, because Monday I was at the doctor, as I'm sure I showed you doves, and it took pretty much the entire day just to get my medicine. My doctor, he's a good doctor, but he is very slow when it comes to putting in my refills for the pharmacy. So it took the whole day to get my medicine. So Tuesday, I edit my video, but that takes a while for me to do, to the point where I was really exhausted and didn't do much else after that. And then Wednesday comes, and normally I edit my video, and then the day after that, I do all my website stuff. I write my blog article, and I like schedule it out and all of that. I couldn't do that on Wednesday because I could not get out of bed. That was very alarming to me. I just could not get out of bed, and so I was not productive at all on Wednesday. So yesterday, Thursday, I was able to get out of bed and everything. And so I did, and I was able to work on my website and schedule out my next blog article and stuff that should be posting in a couple minutes or so. It'll be posted long before y'all even see this video, the one I'm referring to. And so it's just kind of crazy, because today I have therapy. I have therapy at 11. So I'm not going to start painting this shelf yet because I have therapy in 2 hours. And I just don't want to start something and then have to leave. So I'm not gonna do that. Sorry, I need to talk into the microphone. I keep turning this way. There's nothing over there. Tomorrow is Saturday, and I am going to be at church again, but I'm going to be a part of the interplay group with Sustaining International Sisters. A couple of vlogs ago, when we did community dinner in August, we had guest speakers Ruth and Janan, who are in charge of the interplay group that meets once a month on Saturdays. And there's also a deep play group that meets like every other Tuesday or something like that. And they invited me to come to their Saturday interplay group. And so I'm going to go. There's also going to be a potluck. I'm not going to film us doing the whole interplay thing because that'd be kind of weird. And I don't want to like shove a camera into people's faces when I'm supposed to be interplaying too. So I'm not going to film that, but I am going to be at church on Saturday. And so I just wanted to tell you those, but it has been such a busy week. I haven't really been able to do art at all because like on Wednesday, if I was able to get my website and stuff done on Wednesday, then I would have been able to do art yesterday. But I lost an entire day. Ooh. I lost an entire day because I could not work. It was just, I just had this overwhelming feeling of dread and just depression. It was gross. It was icky. So I'm going to try and be productive today. And also my sleep schedule is completely messed up. I keep forgetting to take my sleep medicine at night. So I end up not sleeping. So I end up extremely tired the next day. I'm a mess, y'all, but I'll be all right. And I used GIMP for my YouTube thumbnail for this video. GIMP is all right. It's a little slow though. It's slower than Photoshop, which is a little disappointing. And I'm still having to figure out how to do certain things again because I haven't used GIMP since like 2013. And so I'm still working with it, but I think for a free program, I think it's a good little addition. I am not going to go back to Adobe or pay for their subscription service or whatever because I have too many things on my plate to be worried about a subscription service. For an art program that I don't really use that much because I don't turn my computer on every day. So there's that. Ooh. As you can see, I'm very tired. What else? Yeah, that's about it. I would like to do some vlogging tomorrow, maybe when we have the food out. And I would like to at least do something artistic related in this vlog. So I'm gonna see what I can do. Home from church. I actually have been home for a while, but I didn't film anything because I didn't want to. I was just really tired after therapy and everything. And so we watched the first Evil Dead movie. It's on Tubi. I don't know how we're gonna watch the rest of them, but we watched the first Evil Dead movie and I liked it. It's really weird though. It's a really weird movie. Um and but we watched it and it was good cuz we have like traditions for October. We try to watch like a scary movie franchise or whatever. We also watch The Haunting of Hill House and we look at Over the Garden Wall because it's fall time. So we watched the first Evil Dead movie today. It was really fun, and then Daniel and TW went bike riding to go play Pokemon Go. Meanwhile, I stayed here and I started drawing my persona or redrawing my persona because I decided to redesign her. My persona was previously a striped skunk, but I have changed ZA into a pygmy spotted skunk. A pygmy spotted skunk is the smallest of the skunk family. And they're so darn cute. All skunks are cute, but the pygmy spotted skunk is the cutest because it is like the size of a small mouse. It's like so cute. And also I feel that in the skunk sona part of the furry community, a lot of the skunk sonas are striped skunks. And whenever you're trying to buy skunk merchandise, it's always the striped skunk, never a spotted skunk. And the pygmy spotted skunk is very unique because sorry, my friends are texting each other and stuff and me. The pygmy spotted skunk is unique in that there aren't very many of them around. Like the population of them has never been high, but it's getting even lower unfortunately due to urbanization. But I really love my skunk Sona. I need to color her, but let me show you. So you can see that is Pian. She is sleeping, I think. Anyway, this is my skunk Sona. CA's name is Skunky, and I really like CA. I made the markings, they're meant to be wings. This is the closest thing to wings without actually getting wings. And this is a heart. That is a heart. And the skunk is chubby because I'm chubby. My previous skunk Sona was way too thin because I didn't really know how to draw bigger people. And oh, I love the ears. This is the front of what the ears look like. Those are bows. And this is the back. And I would like to make ears out of yarn and make bows and put bells on them. And this is the back part of the tail and the front part of the tail. And these little lines here indicate dreads. My skunk Sona is very much a free spirit. ZA's name is Skunky, by the way. And this is ZA's face. A heart here, too. But yeah, this is my skunk Sona. I need to color ZA, but I probably won't do that until tomorrow. I had oodles of fun at Sustaining International Sisters, or SIS for short. It was the first time I ever went to a SIS meeting. And I had so much fun. We did interplay, we did a whole lot of different exercises, kind of like improv, except it doesn't have to be comedic. And we were very vulnerable because, well, I'm non-binary, but I present femininely, and so I was allowed to go. And it was nice being vulnerable around other women. It was like a space for women to just be women, because a lot of the members there are Turkish, and so a lot of women in Turkey face a whole lot of abuse and things. And so they flee to other countries, especially the United States, because it's an entire oceans away. And it was nice being there, because I realized when talking to TW about it, because I just finished talking to TW about it, I grew up in an international household. My dad is an immigrant. He immigrated from Nigeria in the 80s. And my mumsy is African American. But even still, we grew up sometimes my mumsy would make her southern food that she grew up with. Other times my dad would feed me food from Africa. And sometimes my dad would have us watch African movies. Particularly Nigerian movies, because he's Nigerian. And he used to have a whole lot of different Nigerian outfits to wear that he would get my brothers to wear, because he had littler versions for them. He would get me Nigerian dolls, which are so pretty. But throughout the years, we've moved a ton growing up, because my dad, he's not a very good person, And so I may be talking fondly about him right now, but like as a whole, he's a very horrific person in general to be around and stuff. And so growing up, we moved around so much because we kept getting evicted. And because he would use all the money on himself. And so I don't really have like a fun childhood, but I try to find the like good within the childhood, while still being very much aware of the fact that I was abused by my father, you know? And still am if I ever go see them. But growing up with a culture that is different from like the American culture, and then going to school with people who aren't children of immigrants was difficult because I was constantly getting bullied in school for being different, for liking different things. And here, let me sit down. And I never understood why was I different, but because my mumsy, even though she's African American, she heavily embraced my dad's culture. And she raised us to be very open-minded of people that are different from us. And so I always got along well with other people from other cultures. Like I was really close to a girl and her cousin from Cambodia. I also, when I was in high school, I was close to people from Pakistan. I would often talk to people and be around people that were from the Latino community or Latinx community, sorry. But I always got bullied by like Americans. And it sucks because it's like, I don't understand. And so us international people, we kind of had our own little huddle of like, you know, just being international. Every single time we moved, I always ended up eventually finding international people to hang out with or whatever. And we would only hang out at school because I was very much, the bullying started when I started school because I have this gigantic scar on my forehead. It's from a car accident that my mumsy was in. I was in the car seat, and my brothers were on the opposite sides of me in the back seat or whatever. And my mumsy, she hit a truck. It was pretty bad. A giant piece of glass. It was literally the size of the entire scar is how big the glass was. Cracked my area right there. And I was in the hospital for like a month or whatever. It may have been 2 weeks. I don't remember. I don't really have a good sense of time as like a 4-year-old. But it felt like a really long time. I still have memories of being in the hospital. Anyway, that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that going to school was difficult for me because I got bullied for having this scar because it was very prominent on my forehead in my early photos. You can see, excuse me. I have early photos right behind me, but I don't want to show you those right now. But I got bullied because I looked different because of this scar, and I always thought this scar was a curse. And they kept telling me it would go away by the time I entered like the 7th grade or something. I think they were just trying to pacify me because scars never really go away. And yeah, it's not as prominent as it was when I was a kid, but it has literally been a permanent part of my face. Like I have baby pictures without the scar, and I barely recognize the self because I don't have this scar. Like this forehead scar has been like, it's just a part of me, you know? So I got bullied for that. So to the point where each time I would advance a grade, I got more and more quieter and more inwards on ZSL because I thought I was ugly. Because people told me I was ugly because of the scar. And so when you take that, I was getting bullied for that. And then I got bullied for being different because of the fact that I'm a child of an immigrant. And because like, we didn't really do a lot of things that like African Americans did, you know? And so I was always told I wasn't black enough because we didn't do a lot of what African Americans did. Like I never really cared for basketball, though I like it now. I didn't when I was growing up because I'm not a very athletic person. I never liked to play basketball. I like watching it now, but I never really played it. I didn't really, there's just like other things, you know, like I don't like chitlins. I don't like chitlins. And there's just like other things that I was constantly told that means you're not really black or you're a white person in there or whatever. And I never understood that because it's like I'm the same skin tone as you. How are you to tell me I'm not the skin tone that I am? How are you to tell me that I don't belong in the same space as you? And now I realize it's because you're the child of an immigrant. And so I went through several periods of my life, and I'm 30, so I'm still young, but not as young. But I went through several periods where I had no idea who I was because I was constantly being told, you don't belong here. And when I went to this interplay group, Sustaining International Sisters, I felt like I belonged because I was around other people who also felt like they didn't really belong anywhere in their communities. And they're all from like different countries. And it's really weird to think about because it can be lonely. And my childhood, I was very much alone, very lonely because when I got older, so like maybe 4th or 5th grade, we moved again, and I struggled to make friends because I was so scared of being called ugly that I just stopped talking to people. People thought I was mute. Like, that's how bad I got. And I kept that quietness all throughout my like experience of school because I was worried if I said anything or did anything, I would be bullied or told that I'm not black enough. Like my love of anime, it was very hard. I don't know how it is now, but it was very hard to be Nigerian American who loves the Spanish culture, who also loves anime, going to school because if it wasn't like Dragon Ball Z, it was not accepted. And even still, Dragon Ball Z, it depended on who you talked to. But as a whole, if you were black and you liked anime, you were viewed as weird, and different and not black enough. At least that's the experience I faced. Because I remember, especially when I was in high school, the people who liked anime all kind of huddled together because they were not really accepted by their other peers. And there are other things that I don't like. Like, I never liked that I Love New York show or that Flavor of Love show. I don't watch Love and Basketball. I don't really follow like black culture. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that when I'm constantly, I internalized constantly being told I'm not black enough and that I don't belong in a black space. So now that I'm an adult, I mean, I've been an adult for a while, but like my response to it, especially when I went to college at 18, was, okay, y'all clearly don't want me in this space, so I am not going to be in this space. So I internalized it, and I just don't really follow Black culture. I peep in every now and again. Like, I don't have like a Black Twitter. That's a thing. I didn't hear about that till like 2016, and I was like, Twitter for Black people? Like, Black Twitter's a thing, and I didn't know about it. And the person who told me about it was like, what do you mean you don't know about Black Twitter? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know these things. And I just, being at SIS today helped me to really think about some issues that I have had growing up. And it has made me want to embrace who I am as a Nigerian American. Like, I used to always was told that I was African American because I'm Black. But, and I would, on those standardized tests, they have you bubble in your race and ethnicity. I was always told to put African American, and I was like, but my dad's Nigerian. And the teacher would be like, just put African American anyway. But like, there's a difference between an African American and a child of someone from a country in Africa. And so around like 2021 or so, I started saying, I'm Nigerian American, and I'm proud of it. I am not going to reject that heritage because I grew up with it, and I'm not going to put it down anymore because people keep telling me I'm not Black enough. And like my dad, he would speak Yoruba to his friends, and he would make like Nigerian food or go to the African restaurant and get Nigerian cuisine. I don't speak Yoruba because my dad, he didn't want to teach us Yoruba because he's not a very good teacher. Like, he taught my brothers how to drive, but he could not teach me. So I learned from someone else. But my brother Lucky, he told me that he was such a bad teacher. Oh my gosh. But so I don't speak Yoruba. I've always wanted to learn though. But yeah, it felt great to be a part of people who accept you as you are, who don't try to stigmatize you because of the things you like, or how you look, or how much money you have. And it felt really good. And it felt good to hear about some of the struggles that they've been having too, and to be a listening ear to them. And it was just really nice. And I really enjoyed it. I hope I can go back. Daniel is doing army stuff. Daniel does army stuff the first weekend of every month. And so SIS is on the first Saturday of every month. And so that's why I haven't been like they came to community dinner in August and had SIS in September, and I didn't go because I had no way of getting there. And I hope I can continue to go, but it all really depends on if they can get a ride for me. But it felt like I found my people, you know? Because, like, people don't really understand the things that, like, immigrants suffer from when they enter the U.S. I don't know about entering other countries because I've never had that experience. But entering the U.S. or being the child of, like, your parents are the direct lineage of, like, they came from another country. Even though it's just one of my parents that came from another country. It's a very different life experience than someone who has both parents who were born and raised in the US. And like, there were some terrible things that my dad would do to us that I grew up thinking it was an acceptable behavior because my dad did it. So it's acceptable, right? you know? And I'm having to like unlearn things he would say to me and do to me, because it's not acceptable. And I just, you don't really understand immigrants unless you hang out with immigrants and like hear their stories. But even still, like their life experience, their lived experience is just on a totally different playing field than someone who's born and raised in the country that they preside in. Um anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. This vlog has been me talking a lot. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox now because I've been talking for almost 20 minutes. So I forgot to also mention that we got some swag from, excuse me, the Sustaining International Sisters group. We got this beautiful tote bag that has a bunch of the principles of SIS on it. And one of the SIS ladies made some handmade soaps. They smell really good because today is the 6th birthday of this particular SIS chapter. So, and also we got a bag here. It is a little membership bag to give to another sister, so that we can bring them to SIS, so that we can bring, someone else into the sisterhood. And here, hang on. We also got these beautiful bandanas, which let me see if I can take it off. These beautiful bandanas, which let me try to unfurl it. If you unravel it, because we had to tie it up for doing interplay, Jonan, I kept calling her Janan, it's Jonan. She put interplay sis on it. She sewed that herself. Very nice. So I just wanted to show you doves some swag that we got. And there's also the 15th Turkish Food Fest that's going on this weekend, but there's no way I can go to it. I really wish I could because we had a potluck after interplay and the Turkish fruit was very good. So this is Skunky fully colored in. I did her ears right there. Oh, I already showed you the sketch. But this is ZA fully colored in, and I really like it. It kind of gives me Incredible Hulk vibes. But that's not what I was going for. I really wasn't. I just love these two colors. They're my favorite. But this is how ZA looks. And I really like it. My markers are starting to dry out though, which makes me kind of sad. But yeah, this is how ZA turned out. Now let me show you some other sketches I made. So when I was at the doctor on Monday, I had to wait a super long time for my medicine. So I drew a lot of people. So I drew this lady on her laptop, or maybe it was a tablet. It was probably a tablet. Then I drew this lady. I really liked her hair, and she was writing on a clipboard, but she was sitting kind of funny, so I don't think I captured that right. But she was sitting next to this pretty full table. So I drew her. I drew this guy. He was on the phone, but then he went outside into like the lobby area to talk on his phone because his conversation got really loud. But I drew him. Then I drew this lady, and then they called me to my doctor's appointment, and I drew her because I loved her hair. It's just really cool. Then afterwards, I waited for my medications to be refilled, and you've heard all of that, but I drew this young teenager. I think she was a teenager. She looked like a teenager. Then I drew this lady. She had a really pretty bag, and I just really love the pattern of her top. And then I drew this lady. She had purple hair, so I made sure to label that. And she had a really pretty bag with flowers on it, and a shirt that also had flowers on it. And I drew this little girl. She was so cute. She had beads in her hair. And she had a cute hairstyle, and she's got the child Grogu from Mandalorian. She had a shirt on of Grogu, and I was just like, oh my gosh. She was just so cute, and I love the way her hands turned out. That is just so cute. And then I drew this lady. She was wearing a scarf, and she had a Michael Kors bag. And she was on her phone. I think that turned out really well. And then I drew this lady. This was when I went to therapy. There weren't a lot of people Friday when I went to therapy, but I tried to draw what I could. And then this was the start of another lady, but my therapist called me to therapy, so I never finished her, and I don't remember what she looks like anymore, so I can't really draw her. And then this line was by mistake. I accidentally scraped the bottom of my pencil onto this page. So there's that. I'm gonna end the vlog here. I apologize for there not being a lot of art in this vlog. I just had a really rough week. It was kind of hard for me to create and everything. And so I just couldn't really art. But I hope to do more arting next week. So if you love this video and if you love my art, it will mean the world to me if you became a member of the Creepy Castle. Link is down below in the Coco Drop 2 at plesayo.art/castle, where you get an instant 20% off coupon code on any item in my store. You get sneak peeks of whatever it is I'm currently working on, and you get to contribute to future product lines. It would also mean the world to me if you like, commented, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, as well as share this video with your art-loving friends. It really helps a lot. I hope to see you dubs again soon. I hope to see you dubs again very soon. I love you so much. Adios.